Hi, everyone. I'm back.
If you ever plan to go to West,
And while I'm here listening to the music with you, I want to show you some of the features of our trip.
get your kicks on Route 66. It's one from Chicago to
That's the
LA,
observation dome that we're going to be in.
2,000 miles all the way.
And that's the lobby of the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. Let's take a look at Sedona and the parlor car. I just love the parlor car. The bar is back there, right there, right? And then more Sedona. Let's go back to the Grand Canyon and let's get started on this. All right, so I want to show you the tabs, and so I'm going to share my screen. The tabs to Grand Canyon features like the El Tovar, amongst other things. So let's just go ahead and do this. Share. All right. Let's get rid of me. And let's go right to these tabs here. That's what I wanted. Okay. So what I'd like to show you are these tabs here. So we're going to start with thetrain.com. If you go to that site, thetrain.com, you can go to all these different tabs and search on your own, but I'm going to show you a few. These are some of the Grand Canyon tours that you want to take advantage of. We're going to be doing the sunset tour, but if you want to do the sunrise tour the next day, you can certainly do that. There's the helicopter rides, there's the mule tours. And remember, if you're going to do that, you have to do the one that starts at 8 a.m. because you're going to be taking that train back to Williams that same day. Rafting, you will not have time for on this exploration. But there's just a lot of different tabs and links that you can take a look at on this particular page. Let's go to the brochures so you can see what kinds of things that are being offered by way of brochures. So you have the Grand Canyon Railway and Hotel brochure, the maps of the property right at the Williams Depot and Hotel. There's the village guide. That's interesting. The Grand Canyon Village map, which we saw in the presentation, and lots of others, as you can see here. My favorite probably is the walking tours, this historic village self-guiding walking tour, and there's also some maps for hiking as well. Another one of my favorites is the history of the national parks. Women were very influential in the early 1900s, starting with the Harvey girls. Fred Harvey here brought all these women, educated women from the East Coast mostly, and it really was the way that the frontier started in the West in terms of building up all the small towns that we know of. And so there's a couple Harvey houses left, and one of them is the El Tovar, which brings us to my next favorite person, Mary Coulter, who is the mastermind architect of the El Tovar, the Hermit's, what's it called? Hermit's hut or cottage or something like that. And then also the Hopi House, the Native American um, house next to El Tovar. And then the geologist Florence Bascom. Really interesting read here if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Now let's take a look at the shuttles, shall we? Or excuse me, the Grand Canyon Visitor Center. And then we'll look at the shuttles, but you can get to the shuttles from this page as well. And this is another web page here, nps.gov. And that's going to take you to a lot of fun places that you can visit and read about. But a lot of people like to know about the different routes and that you're going to take, and then what's being offered at the visitor center. Here are a few of those features, some films, orientation film. There's a map there, the hours, and then the locations of the different visitor centers at the Grand Canyon. There's one right by the depot. Okay, so this is the big one that's on the right side of that village map, which is over here. If you notice, I just switched on to another tab. So here is the red line, and then the orange line, and then the more popular blue line. This is the one that most people take because it's runs between the Massanutten Lodge, which is where we're going to be housed. And then there's the Hopi House up here, and the Grand Canyon Railroad Depot in El Tovar. The Kolb Studio is over here, and some hiking along Hermit Road. Um, oh, this museum up here is really cool, the Geology Museum. But on the other end of the blue line is the big visitor center. Okay. So I just wanted to take you there. And then another cool site is bikegrandcanyon.com, where you can rent bikes. You can also take tours, um, but you can do e-bikes or regular bikes, fun stuff. But another reason I took you to this page is because they offer wheelchairs. Remember, you're at 7,000 feet and you want to be able to take care of yourself and enjoy your time because you have the afternoon from the time that you arrive, which is right before noon, and then you have the full, almost the full day. Um, let's call it 3/4 of a day, right? Because you're going to have from the morning until 3 p.m. ish before you board the train to go back to Williams. And so taking a wheelchair or renting a wheelchair is a good way to get around. Doesn't matter your fit level, really. Rolled my ankle a couple years ago before I went to Switzerland, and I definitely took advantage of getting a wheelchair from the check-in gate to get my ticket at the Denver airport all the way to my gate. And my goodness, it just made life so much easier. So just keep that in mind. Take care of yourself. It's a great way to get around at a high altitude. And wheelchairs can act as a bit of a walker too, if you want to just use the wheels to get you around and stand up. So just take that into consideration, okay? All right, so I'm going to take you now to the El Tovar. This is the Grand Canyon Lodges.com. This is the page that you want to go on to get to there. But the reason I'm taking you here, besides the beautiful views, and you can scroll down, by the way, on this and check out the other properties. The Maswick Lodge, this is the old one, so it's not doesn't even have the new um, South Lodge that we're going to be staying at. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be looking at that page. But if you go over to this tab, Dine, it has all the different dining options here, food trucks, um, the Maswick Pizza Pub and the Maswick Food Court are right over by where you're going to stay. But if you want to make reservations for any of these, the one that's most required is the El Tovar and the Arizona Steakhouse. But I'm going to take you to the El Tovar one because that's probably most popular. For the first night, dinner, remember you don't want to make a reservation any earlier than 7:30 because you have that wonderful sunset tour. But the next morning, remember you have breakfast and lunch on your own. So if you want to make reservations here, you certainly can do that. Um, Lunch, a lot of people don't get because they know they're going to get the snacks and stuff on the train, which is going to be a little bit later. You actually are going to be leaving the station at 3:30. So maybe you want to get lunch, but just keep that in mind. And this is where you go to just get your reservations. You won't be able to make reservations until 60 days out. So we're in May right now and won't be able to do that. But this is where you go. Easy drop down, pick your date, how many guests, and the time. Just reminding you again, no earlier than 7:30 for dining that first night. Okay, so I hope that helps you kind of um, you know, understand exactly where the tabs are. I'm going to be sending a document or email out with those links. So hopefully that will help you and you're good to go. Take care and we'll see you on the flip side. All right. Bye-bye.